The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
All right, time to dive into today's topic. Looks like we've got a request for, well, nude beach details.
Whoa. Someone's got ambitious vacation plans.
That's one way to put it. But hey, always happy to explore the unexpected.
Absolutely. And speaking of unexpected,
You think maybe we should start with some, shall we say, more practical aspects of planning a Hawaiian beach trip before we get to the legalities of stripping down?
probably a good call. Where do you want to begin?
Let's see. Our adventurer here mentioned volcanoes, surfing, even hula dancing.
Sounds like they're really trying to get a feel for the islands beyond the usual tourist stuff.
Exactly. And we've got some interesting sources to work with that touch on all of that. But I gotta ask, what's the connection between, say, volcanoes and beaches?
Well, you see, that's actually a really key thing about Hawaii. The islands themselves were literally formed by volcanoes. Like that whole chain of islands is basically one giant volcanic eruption after another over millions of years.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking serious geological history here.
Oh, yeah. And that history is like embedded in the beaches themselves. You don't just have your typical white sand beaches in Hawaii, though those exist too, of course.
Oh, yeah. What else is there?
Well, you've got black sand beaches.
Black sand.
Yeah, black sand. It's wild. It's basically formed from volcanic rock that's been eroded down over time into these fine grains of, well, basically sand. And get this, it can get scorching hot in the sun because, dark colors absorb more heat.
So you're telling me I need flip-flops for the sand itself?
Oh, absolutely. Don't want to be caught barefoot on a black sand beach midday. Trust me.
Noted. But wait, you said black sand, white sand. Are there other kinds?
There are. Ever heard of green sand beaches?
Green. Like what, seaweed or something?
Nope. Actual sand. It's made from this mineral called olivine. It erodes down and gets deposited on the shore, and boom, green sand beach. It's actually pretty rare.
Wow. Okay, so we've got black sand, green sand, white sand. That's already way more variety than I expected.
And that's just the beginning. Each of these types of beaches offers a totally different experience. Like the texture of the sand is different. The way the waves break is different. It's wild.
Speaking of waves, our listener mentioned surfing. I'm guessing the type of beach matters there too.
Big time. You see, it all comes down to what's going on beneath the surface. The shape of the coastline, the ocean floor, reefs, it all plays a role in how the waves form and break.
So it's like the coastline and the ocean floor are a giant wave-making machine.
Exactly. Some beaches have these gentle slopes underwater, which create these mellow, rolling waves that are perfect for beginners. Then you have other beaches with reefs and sudden drop-offs. And those are the ones that create those massive, powerful waves that surfers dream about.
So yeah, choosing the right beach is kind of crucial for the surfing experience you're after.
Definitely. You wouldn't want to show up at Pipeline expecting gentle rollers.
Okay, so we've covered volcanoes, we've covered surfing, sort of brushed over packing. But speaking of which, what about the best time to pack those bags and actually go to Hawaii? Any thoughts on that?
Well, Hawaii's pretty famous for its year-round warm weather, so you're usually good to go anytime. Though there are some things to keep in mind, like the winter months tend to be a little rainier, while the summers are generally drier. But overall, Hawaii's got a pretty consistent climate.
That makes sense. Easy for me to say I'm not the one planning this trip. But hey, you know what else our listener mentioned wanting to experience? Hula dancing.
Ah, yes. Hula is incredibly important to Hawaiian culture. Unfortunately, the source material you gave me doesn't have any specifics on that.
Right, of course. We have to stick to what's in the deep dive. Which reminds me, we still haven't addressed that, shall we say, delicate request from our listener.
You mean about the clothing optional beaches?
Exactly.
Right. Well, it's great to be adventurous and want to experience new things, but it's also super important to be respectful of local customs and laws. And in Hawaii, there aren't actually any officially designated nude beaches.
Ah, so our listener might have to keep their swimsuit handy after all.
Exactly.
So maybe less about what to leave at home and more about being mindful of local customs wherever you go.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it. This deep dive had it all. Black sand, green sand, surfing waves, and, well, even a little bit about what not to wear. What kind of Hawaiian beach experience will you choose? This was just the start. Go explore, find those hidden gems, and most importantly,
Don't forget your flip-flops.
you got it.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.